What legacy do you want to leave?
Mm. I know you had mentioned you had Mr. Vincent on, and he was like, "Man, I don't care about my freaking legacy," and I would have probably said something really similar to that if we recorded, say, 3 years ago. Um, but man, when you bring life into this world, just things change a little bit. My perspective on a lot of things have changed, and yeah, and having children, yeah, it'll simply put, it'll change you. And in regards to my legacy, man, I just like, here's something that comes to mind often. Um, and I would probably still kind of side with Mr. Vincent. Like, there's part of me that could really care less about what anyone thinks of me or remembers about me. But when it comes to like my wife or my daughter or just my close friends and family, and and what they remember and what memories they hold, that, I guess, being my legacy, it has more to do with them than anything, and just like, and being a good father, and being like a fair businessman and an honest businessman. um Being joyful is a big one. I I like I like making people feel good, whether it be through food. I love to cook for large groups. Um, I like I like to make people laugh and be funny. Um, and kind of, I'll, I tend to utilize humor to cope, whether that's a good or bad thing. Um, but I like making people feel good, and and it's really kind of been my life's work, even, and not just making people laugh and feel good, but I want I want people to know how good they're meant to really feel. Um, and I think it has a lot to do with where I've been in my life. I feel like I've been at some of the lowest of the lows, and really only shared a fraction of my life with you today. But just, yeah, I've had some gnarly things happen. I wish I actually had this letter. A friend of mine just wrote it to me. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago, and he wrote a letter to each of our, one of the friends in the group.
Yeah.
And my word was perspective. And even, 15 years ago, still, even before I even knew the Lord, he just found it like really remarkable that I was always able to be in a good mood. And I was constantly like, nothing, like, never goes my way. Like, it would, and then everything would fall apart, whether it was an injury or like a death or a separation or whatever. It just like, woof, 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 and just getting beat down nonstop. And I've just learned to be able to like carry a tune through all that, and to be like, to just be joyful in the midst of really difficult, crappy situations. And like, I hope that, as much as I want to help make people feel good and help people realize how good they're meant to feel, if there's like one thing I hope that there's a legacy that I leave, it's maybe like this, just proof that, like, joy can coexist with sadness, joy can coexist with pain, joy can coexist um during just difficult moments in your life. And shit, man, it's way more fun and it's way better when you're not freaking out. all the time. Anytime I do freak out, I one of my favorite stories with this is just like I lost my, this is years ago, but I lost my wallet, and I thought someone stole my wallet, and I was so upset, and I literally ruined my day over this wallet, and I found it at the end of the day after I just like wasted so much energy pulling other people down with my sadness and my grief over the loss of my wallet, and just, or whatever the grief is over the loss of whatever you freaking had. It's just like you can be bummed about losing your wallet, but you don't have to be a freaking, a turd about it all day. And it's just a complete waste of energy. And I've learned that time and time and time again. Nothing is ever improved by freaking out about it. Nothing. Nothing. Literally nothing. Even when life is at hand, and like, you know, life or death is at hand. There's nothing good comes from freaking out. Like, stay calm, like have a have a you know a joyful attitude about whatever it is that you're doing, and it'll just like it just that isn't has been so enriching for me. um it's something I notice a lot in other people's lives where um they just let life chew them up and spit them out. And I get chewed up for sure. Like, I've been chewed up quite a bit, but um, man, I fight back. I fight back with positivity. I fight back with love. I fight back, and I don't give up. I don't give up. I like one of my favorite quotes that I actually have on the back of this hat. It says, "Find out what happens when you don't give up." Like, I love that. It actually have a painting right there that says, "Find out what happens when you don't give up." It's been a really fortifying message for me. It's gotten to a point where like I almost like I kind of relish in the crappiness. Like, I kind of enjoy it now. Like, I really like seeing what happens on the other side of it, because I know it's good. And it's just find out, man. Find out what happens when you don't give up. Find out what happens on the other side of that argument. Find out what happens on the other side of that injury. Find out what happens on the other side of whatever it is that you think sucks, because it's going to be something beautiful and magnificent. um, but yeah, you can't quit, you can't give up. um, lots of little nuggets there in regards to like what my legacy is or what I want it to be. But man, I just hope that like the same way my homie from college was able to see that I was able to keep a good perspective about things in difficult moments, like that would be it. I hope that people see me behaving that way, and they're able to steal that or borrow that for themselves. um just it's just such a just a more peaceful, happier, joyful way of being, in my opinion. And I see people stressed out to the gills nonstop, and anxiety nonstop, depressed nonstop. And dude, I have all the things that you are depressed about and you're anxious about and you're sad about. It's not like I haven't experienced affliction in my life, dude. I've had some shiznaz happen, dude, whether it be like in the department of losing people or injuries. I've broken my leg 4 times. I've cracked my collarbone in half. I've probably had over 100 concussions. I've broken my foot. I've broken my hand. I've torn both of my pecs. I ripped my bicep off my arm. Like, just I could go on forever about all the crappy things I've been through and the pain I've experienced. And there's like people make it like a comparison thing. Like, you don't understand like the hurt that I've been through. And this is like, I do actually, I do. And really it doesn't even matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like, I've learned also that like whatever crap you've been through, Will, like, let's say the worst thing that I've been through was like getting my ass kicked in high school and being called horrible names and being spit on and pissed on and yada yada yada. And the worst thing that ever happened to you was like your mommy told you no, that you couldn't have that thing. But that to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Like, it it's really no different than the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Our worst is our worst. And you see this in the gym too. Like, with workouts. The performance that I have in the gym looks very rarely like anyone else's.
Mhm.
But does that mean that like their workout doesn't count, or they're not going to get any benefit from their workout? Like, no, absolutely not the case. Just yeah. So like, I'm not really going anywhere with that. It's just like what I'm saying is just your crap doesn't matter. Like, we all have it. It's part of life. It Don't let it chew you up and spit you out. Fight back a little bit. Um, and I understand that we might not all have everything in place together in the moment to be able to handle and cope with some of these things, but like, just keep showing up and work to cultivate that attitude of joy and gratitude and peace and harmony and unity and all these things. And like, before too long it will just become embedded into you. It will just become a very natural state of your being. But it takes repetition and it takes practice, and you have to cultivate discipline around it. And I think I've just been able to maybe figure it out a little sooner, than some people, because you know because I've just I've had some trials, and I've had to, um, either you either learn from it, or the other options are rather bleak. And I've been there before. I've definitely had a few moments in my life where not existing seemed like a pretty good deal, comparatively to where I was, or where the potential of where I was going.